Hi, everyone. Thanks for stopping by. Today, I'll be teaching you how to do a seamless border. By the end of this video, you'll have another awesome tool in your toolkit for completing your next big plastic canvas project. As always, if you're here to learn a new hobby, expand your knowledge of the craft, or to just relax, you've come to the right place. So let's get started. What do I mean by seamless border? As you can see in the example here, it doesn't really look like the stitch stops. I've got an example of a tissue box that I made here. In the white yarn, you can see that it has a seamless border around it. Essentially, a seamless border is going to be double stitches. It's just that it gets creative in the corners, which gives it that seamless appearance. And we're going to be doing that here in just a second. I love seamless borders. I think they look cool. They're quick to stitch, and they just make your project look more dynamic. So what you'll need, of course, is 7 mesh plastic canvas. Again, this is just the example piece. I've already cut out a piece here. You're going to need your size 16 needle. You're, of course, going to need your yarn. You're also going to need a nice sharp pair of scissors. The yarn we are using today is this beautiful purple color. Let's see here. Amethyst. It's amethyst. It's a beautiful color. All right, well, let's get started. First things first, we're going to cut our yarn. We might need to do 2 separate runs of yarn, but that's fine because it's easy enough to weave in additional yarn with double stitches. So let's cut this yarn off here, making sure to leave enough hanging out so that we can get it later. Now, the way that my mom used to put the yarn into the needle is she used to lick it, and I'm too much of a germaphobe for that. So what I like to do is get the yarn, bend it over on itself, make a nice little nub with it, and then squeeze that through the hole in the end of the needle. And then we're going to pull it through. There we go. Just leave yourself a little bit of a tail so that it doesn't fall out. And let's get started. So let me point out here real quick, since I like to start projects from the bottom right, if we did that here, it would sort of interfere with this seamless look. So instead of starting in the bottom right, we're actually going to start over here in the bottom left and work our way across. Now, what we're going to make sure that we adhere to, of course, is the rule of keeping the back stitch as slanted as much as possible. Now, what that means is we're going to start at the top right, go to the bottom left, and then go to the top right again. And that's going to stretch out our back stitches. We're also not going to be starting with a single stitch like we would with a regular double stitch. We're going to go straight into the double stitch. All right, so where are we going to start? 2 to the right of the end, and then 2 up. It's right here. And just like with the other stitches, we are going to leave that tail flat against the back, and then we're going to cover it up as we go along. So I've got about an inch or so that I'm holding to the back of the canvas with my middle finger, and we're going to cover that up as we go. So very bottom left stitch here. Okay. And if the yarn is covering up the hole that you're going to be going into, you can just pull it a little bit out of the way on the back side there. All right, pull that through. All right, bottom left. All right, next one on the right. And since we're going vertically, you can just kind of think of it as the next one in line going up. Of course, as we go, we are covering up that tail, that yarn tail that we started with. And you see how fast this is going? That's one of the benefits of doing double stitches, especially if you've got, like, if you don't have an idea in your head exactly of how a project goes, you might just decide to pick up your canvas, your needle, and pick out a cool yarn and just go with it and just start adding elements to your project. So you might not know what you're going to put on the inside of it, but you'll know, hey, I'm going to start with a seamless border, and then we'll work our way from there. You might say, I know that I'm going to put this particular number, letter, or logo in the middle of the pattern or in the middle of the project, and then add stuff around it. So you have a lot of freedom in that regard. Now, at this point, we have covered up our starting tail, and our stitches are very diagonal in the back, so that means we're getting good coverage on the back side here. Just go up one on the right side, up one on the left side. It's funny, every time I'm in like a waiting room at the doctor's office or anything, I see everyone else is on their phone, but not me. I pull out whatever project I'm working on and I start working on it. All right. We're almost at the point where we're going to be doing that special stitch for in the corner. So let me pull out my example here, and we'll look and see how many stitches in the corner that are going to be the elongated ones here. So we've got one single stitch here, and we've got a double stitch. We can call it a triple stitch, although I don't really use triple stitches as such. But we have one that's going to go from the fourth square down to the fourth square on the top. So we know that when we get to this fourth square on our actual project, we're going to have to go all the way across. So let's see where we're at. 1, 2, 3. Oh, we're at the fourth square. So that means this next one is going to go to the top 4 squares in. All right, here we go. It's going to be a big stitch. So make sure that your tension on the yarn is good. Then 4 squares down on the left, right? Now we're just going to fill it in. Third one from the top on the right. third one from the bottom. All right, and then one more single stitch here at the top. All right. Now here's where the trick comes in. Instead, here's the back here. Instead of just starting over here and having this piece just adding a depth to the backside, which might make it uneven if it's laying flat, we're not going to do that. We're going to tunnel our yarn through these bottom three stitches. Almost like you're weaving a tail in at the end, but we're doing it just to keep the backside flat. So put it underneath of all those stitches. And then when we pull it through, there we go. We'll flip it back around. Now we're just going to finish. We're going to keep going, but we do want to remember that we want to make sure that our back stitches are elongated so that we get good coverage on the front. So we also want to make sure that we finish this off right here, and that we are going to be putting a stitch into the same hole as this one that's going to go across. So now we have to decide if we're going to start with this hole or if we're going to start with this hole. Well, if we go from here to here, then that keeps our stitches short. We don't want that. We want our stitches to be long on the back side. So we're going to put it in right here. And now we're going to put it into this hole. Again, make sure that you're not catching any of the other yarn that's already in that hole. And now we just go all the way across. Next one over on the top, next one over on the bottom, all the way across. We will see if we've got enough yarn here. And it's looking like, my guess is that we will stop right before this corner here and get some new yarn, because I don't want to have to do that corner stitch or that corner area with a bunch of start and stops on the yarn. It's much easier to start and stop on a long stretch. All right, so we're moving right along. We're almost at the end of our yarn here. You can see that this is all we've got. So we're almost at the point where we're going to want to switch over. And I think I'm going to switch over right now. All right. So we're going to stick this into the back side here, and we're just going to stick the needle up under those back stitches. And we want to make sure we don't catch any of the yarn. And just like we're weaving in the end, on the edge of a project, pop the needle off there. We're going to grab our scissors, and we're going to cut that yarn right there. Nice. So now we're going to weave in to the back side here and start this corner piece, and then we'll go right on around. So we're going to grab some more yarn here, and right about there. Leave ourselves enough to get more. All right. We'll make a nice little tight nub. Again, we're just folding it over on itself. Get a nice tight nub there. And we'll try to squeeze it through the yarn. Again, the biggest opening is going to be in the middle of that hole. Here we go. Give ourselves enough to work with. Now, we're not going to do that thing where we weave over what we start with. We're just going to go straight in to the back side here. We're going to go underneath, 5 or so stitches, put our needle through, and pull the yarn through. Oop, we're almost there. I almost went too far. We want it to just barely be inside. There we go. And now we've got more yarn to work with. All right, so top, we want to go top, right, to bottom left, so that we have elongated back stitches. Again, that's for better coverage. Top right, bottom left. And then this right here is where it gets a little tricky, because if I want to still keep it with the longer back stitches, if I go right to left, then that's not going to give me what I want. So I am actually going, this is the only place on this entire seamless border where I cheat. I'm going to go straight down. And then one from the top. But if that allows me to keep the entire row in front with good coverage, then that's that one little spot right there is perfectly fine, because that's going to give me good coverage throughout the rest of this upper side right here. So same thing, next one on the left, next one on the right, all the way down. And if your yarn starts to kind of twist on you and get really curly, you can always just let it kind of stretch out. I don't know why it does that, but sometimes it does that. It'll get kind of tight and twisted up on you. Oop, there we go. Oop, there we go. Corner keeps on catching the yarn, but plastic canvas is very forgiving. It's always easy to fix your mistakes. And it looks like we have enough yarn here to finish this bottom corner. Again, that's going to be one that's going to mirror this one up here. And that one's that fancy seamless one. But I think we got enough yarn to do it. So if we remember, it's going to be, look at the top here, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and then 4 from the corner. This one we're going to want to stop here. So at the moment we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Oop, that looks like that's our next one here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to go in from the 4th from the corner down here, and then 4 from this corner. There we go. And then 2nd from the corner to 2nd from the corner again. Then we finish with our single stitch. All right. It's getting a little twisty, so I'm going to untwist it there. So just like we did up here, where we went through the back side, we're going to do the same thing on this side. So I'm going to flip it over to the back side, and we're just going to weave our needle in through the back side so that the yarn goes underneath. And we are going to need to get some more yarn. So I'm going to do that at about the middle here, just because I don't want to change yarn just to do a little side. I would want to make sure that I'd have it be as even as possible. So again, we want our back stitches to be elongated. So we're going to go bottom right, left to top right, all the way across. The yarn is starting to get kind of curly. That's fine. We're about to get a new piece anyway. We don't want to go too far because we do want to have enough left over to act as the tail. So I'm going to do one more stitch here, and then we're going to weave it in and get another piece. Okay, so there we are. We're going to weave that in 4 or 5 stitches. Make sure we don't catch it in between the strands at all. There we go. Now let's cut that excess off. All right, now we just need a little bit of yarn to finish off that section. So let's get just what we need. We don't need to get too much. There we go. And we'll get this stuck on our needle here. Same thing. Fold it over on itself, put it through the biggest part of the needle. Oop. Let's try that one more time. There we go. And then we should be able to pinch it and pull it through. Yep, there we go. And just like before, let's switch to the back side. We are going to be weaving this in underneath those back stitches, like so. All right. And now we've got enough yarn to finish. So again, bottom left to top right so that we get good coverage. And we are almost there. We're almost done with our seamless border. And I really like this color purple. This color purple goes really well with a lot of different things. Could be an Easter color, could be used for girls or guys. It's a nice purple, and it's nice purple that mixes well with other colors as well. We're almost done. We've got 2 stitches left. One more. Bam. All right. So we've got options here as far as where to put the back stitch, where we're going to put our tail. We can either put it on the row that we just made, or we can put it on the initial row that we started with. I'm going to put it on the row that we started with, just because I think that it gives the appearance of that stitch a little bit of a better look. So we're going to switch it around, and we're going to find that first stitch. We're just going to stick it under a couple of those stitches, making sure to not catch it on anything. Pull it through, take our needle off, and make sure it's tight. All right, and then that's it. Got one more piece to cut off. All right, you can kind of massage it down, make sure it's flat. And then there we have it. We've got a seamless border. Awesome. So that's it. You've now done your first seamless border. That wasn't so hard. Thank you for joining me today. Stay tuned, as I'll be able to share some more content with you about plastic canvas in the future. And there might even be some crochet and knit videos as well. So keep your eyes out. Stay tuned on that. And heck, Even consider liking this video and subscribing if you like this kind of content and would like to see more. As always, if you have any questions, please do drop them in the comments section. And again, thank you so much for joining me today. We'll see you next time.